All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's off to work we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day in Milwaukee. For those with kids in private school, I hope you're enjoying week 2 of summer. For those with kids in public school, I hope you're enjoying day 2 of summer. Lots of chaos, I know, for many of you. And I'll tell you this. Interestingly to note, because I looked this up, last year at this time, we had started to feel the summer slip and slide. And I talked about how historically within the seasonal markets, June had been the peak. Last year, May was the peak. I was looking at the data this morning. The market's still trending up, which is good news for us heading into this June, July period, because you don't want to see it peak too early in the year. I'll talk more about that here in a second. But I have some more interesting things. What I'm trying to bring and gather to you more is more of the things that are being talked about on a macro focus from an industry standpoint to get you guys to be thinking and paying attention as to what's going on. So I have some more information for you to share in that way and a variety of other things. So let's jump into it. Mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. One of the things I want to jump right into is we have a bunch of people we want to celebrate in the month for the month of May. And last week we did the first half of May cappers. This week we do second half of week cappers. First up, this woman is killing it. And she's doing it in an age when most people don't expect you to in this business. Hard to find clients, hard to find people with disposable income who can buy real estate. She's proving it wrong. She's doing it in a variety of ways. She's speaking through multiple channels. Congrats to Abigail Jacqua for capping in the month of May. Next up, this person is always willing to show up and is always showing up. Has a multitude of facets within this business. Is an example of how you can be very entrepreneurial and how you can build multiple businesses. And this individual is in the North Shore office at 5:30 or 6 o'clock as I'm leaving nearly almost every night, working on and building his business. Congrats to Nolan for capping in the month of May. Next up, this person has an incredible eye for design, an incredible mother, and unfortunately, I don't know if this is the right way to say it. I had the pleasure of attending her father's wake. Her father just recently passed, and the stories of her father as a pastor, what he did for the community, how he built other people up. You can see how his legacy is living on through how Mara approaches her life and her business. And it was great to understand she has a big family and learning how her dad made an impact on her life. Congrats to Mara for capping in the month of May. Next up, this person just recently had his first child, and he doesn't know how his life will change until you have that. I think his number of golf rounds will go down substantially. That will yet to be determined. But Ricky, congrats for capping in the month of May. They brought great vibes to the Battle of the Vibes in the month of May, all doing it while having his first child. So Ricky, congrats. Next up, our resident musician. If you haven't seen him at the halftime show of the Bucks games or in and around town in his live music scene, David Lopez he might moonlight as a musician, but he's having a great year in the residential real estate space. Super cool dude who's making it work and a man of many talents. David, congrats for capping in the month of May. Next up, Megan Ludwig, an incredible woman who likes to change the arc of trajectories of people within her community. She's doing a lot of work with Axe Housing to help buyers get into homes, and Megan and helping lead a team with the Real Estate Collective. So Megan, congrats for capping in the month of May. Next up, this person, I would say, every interaction I have with her, my world is better because of the level of positivity and energy she brings. Abby Myers is always smiling, always so positive. Congrats, Abby, for capping in the month of May. Next up, this person was a longtime admin on a team, recently made the transition into full-time real estate agent support, is a single mom supporting 2 kids. She just had her first graduate from high school. Congrats to JLC for capping in the month of May. Next up, also on the Highmark Real Estate team, building her business, supporting Jay, and doing really great things as she's building it brick by brick. Congrats to Adri for capping in the month of May. Also over in the North Shore on the House to Home team, been supporting Judy Hebner and that team for several years, lives over in West Dallas. Just a great, positive person, very, very even, as I call it, from an emotional standpoint. Congrats to Jason Stelling for capping in the month of May. All right, a few more to celebrate. These people, just incredible. It's an incredible couple who I think has a really healthy relationship of satire and comedy in the way they do their business. They helped us launch the innovation office through their old Remax office on North Avenue several years ago, and they just brought their son, Bradley, into the business as a social media star. Be on the lookout there, but Bradley's a great spirit, and love it for Todd and Andrea for capping in the month of May. Next up, over in Lake Country, I'm going to give her a little bit of a hard time because she always says, "Well, I'm new to this business. I'm new to this business. I'm new to, and I've been doing it for not that long." And I'm like, "Shireen, you're killing it. You're establishing yourself." She thinks about the business very critically, is always great with feedback. We had a great conversation last week while I was out in Lake Country. Shireen, congrats on capping in the month of May. And then lastly, this is an individual who's been with us for maybe 7 or 8 years, quietly goes about his business. He brought his daughter, Morgan Young, into the business, but Randy just quietly goes about his business, is just serving his clients in the right way, has a lot of investor clients, a lot of flip clients, also has a day job, but does a really great real estate business. Congrats to Randy Young for capping in the month of May. All right. With that, incredibly exciting to share in our May cappers. Congrats to those who capped, and we look forward to celebrating our June cappers shortly. A few updates for the group. Want to remind the group and an educational component to the group. But this week on Friday is Juneteenth Day. And to give you a little bit of context, because I don't think enough people are aware of it and know of it, but the Emancipation Proclamation was effective in 1863, which ended slavery. But it was still not implemented in places still under Confederate control. In 1865, which is 2 years later, there were 2,000 Union troops that arrived in Galveston, Texas, where the Army announced that more than 250,000 enslaved Black people were freed by executive decree 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. This day became known as Juneteenth Day, and it was recognized as the second Independence Day for many Americans, more than 150 years after slavery officially ended in Texas, and a bill was signed in the administration in 2021 to set aside Juneteenth as a federally recognized holiday. I share that with you, one, to be aware, to be educated as to what it is and why, as a country, we celebrate it, and also, two, to make you aware that on Friday, because it is a federally recognized holiday, our offices will be closed, banks will be closed, the post offices are closed. So I just want to make you aware to plan in advance. This week, Friday, is June 19th, celebrating Juneteenth Day. Next up, just from an office and operations standpoint, we have no team meeting next week, Tuesday, the 23rd, because we will be hosting Jason Abrams in Milwaukee downtown at the Hilton Hotel from 9 to 12. So we will not be hosting a team meeting on the 23rd next week. And we will be hosting a team meeting then on the 30th, the following week. Make sense? Beautiful. Next up, we actually have a little bit of an exciting announcement in terms of a new project coming to downtown that Falk Ruvin will be bringing to market. And Rick wanted to join to invite you to something special as it relates to an unveiling next week. So Rick, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Charlie. And thank you, my KW brothers and sisters. Super excited to announce that we will be marketing the first for sale condo project, high-rise condo project in Milwaukee in 20 years. It's a 25-story, 226-unit building in the Easttown portion of downtown Milwaukee with killer lake and city views. We put almost a year's worth of work into this, and it's going to be an unbelievable product for you to sell to your clients. The units themselves have floor-to-ceiling windows, large balconies, 9.5-foot ceilings, and customizable finishes, appliances, cabinetry, countertops, wood flooring, tile, paint colors. I did the math the other night. There are more than 1,000 possible combinations, so each unit will be unique. It's an unbelievably amenity-rich building. So there's a two-story fitness center, pool, sauna, cold plunge shower, panoramic roof deck, a golf simulator, a pet spa, indoor and outdoor gathering spaces. One bedrooms will start in the mid fours. Two bedrooms will start in the mid sevens. There will be penthouses as well that start around $2 million. And what perhaps I'm most excited about is that the HOA fees are super reasonable. They're half to a quarter of the price of some of the competing luxury downtown buildings. So this is an amazing opportunity for Milwaukee. This is an amazing opportunity for Keller Williams. It's an amazing opportunity for Falk Ruvin Gallagher. We will be hosting a broker open at the Ascent, which is 700 East Kilbourne Tower, next week, Tuesday from 4 to 6. Look for additional announcements, but just wanted to bring this to the group a week before the announcement so that you're all informed. Please keep it under wraps. It's not going to the market for another week, but wanted to share this with my brothers and sisters.
Cool. Rick, congrats. Exciting project for our downtown skyline. Incredible opportunity. An incredible opportunity in a from an inventory perspective that's been relatively tight, most especially in the downtown market. So Rick, congrats to you and your team. We look forward to launching that project downtown next week with you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Awesome. All right. With that, Willis, you have a plethora of technology updates. Why don't you give these guys a little bit of information as it relates to what's going on with technology?
Oh my gosh, I haven't been up here in a hot minute. So I do have tons of updates to tell everyone about, and I'm sure by now you've heard lots and lots about the KW MKE app. I just want to reiterate how valuable it is for all of our agents and the resources that it provides. We do have the agent hub on the website, but living within the app as well are all the essential resources that you can find, of course, at our website. It has been recently updated to have more of a modernized UI. It has way faster loading times. It has better browser compatibility. So especially when you're like clicking on other people's links and getting lost, that's pretty much fixed. And then powerful features are coming soon. But what I really wanted to talk about today is the desktop version. I don't know if a lot of you know about that, but the desktop version is essentially the exact same experience, but for those who want to view it on their computer. So if you're working on your MLS, your listings, whatnot, you can actually have this in another tab and still have just as much access as you would on your phone. And even more so, you can watch videos and do a couple more things that you can do with a more powerful browser because you're using your desktop. So it has been modernized. I'll be honest, when we first rolled it out, it was kind of 1997. And now this is what you're going to see. It's very clean, it's modernized, and it's really, really quick. For those of you like myself who are night owls who work at night sometimes, it now has dark mode so that you can actually go through these things and not burn your eyeballs out. But I just wanted to take a moment to look at this photo. It's probably a little blurry, but this is just a glance at some of the resources that are on the app waiting for you to take advantage of. They're always up to date. It's extremely, extremely resourceful. And I can't scroll down on this screen, but there's even more. So I implore all of you to take a look, explore it, find it, try to break it, please, because that makes it better. The link is probably, if somebody move my slides around. So This is actually the link to it. So it's agentintelligence.app. So if you go to this, I would take a picture of it because if you scan a QR code, it's just going to open it up on your phone. And it's going to want to open up the phone app. And I want you to do this on your actual desktop computers. Maybe. So, yeah, I want you to all explore that. And please, if you have feedback and improvements that you're looking for, or maybe features that we haven't thought of yet, please let us know so that we can share that information with our team. But the real reason that I'm here is Uniflow. I know that you've all gotten 7,428 emails from me about changes to our printers. And I just want to clear up a few things and I want to answer a few questions that I've been getting repeatedly and help you all assimilate this in a way that really is going to be beneficial for you. Uniflow is going to make your lives 1000% better because you will literally be able to print from anywhere that has an internet connection, period. And when you walk into an office, you will be able to just put in your 4-digit code or just go up to the printer with your phone and print whatever you sent up to the queue. And so I'm on this rapid mission to get Uniflow rolled out across all the offices. So today I am rolling out all the printers here in the North Shore. So that's the real reason I'm here physically. And then right after this, I'll be in the Prestige office. I'll be doing it there. And then at the end of the day, I'll be switching over Heartland as well. And the more printers that we have switched over is the more places that you can just walk right up to it and get what you need. And one of the really great features of Uniflow is that when you print something, how many times do you print something, you forgot your computer, and you're like, oh shit, I need this document, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you just put in your 4-digit code, it pulls up your queue and everything you've printed in the last 7 days, and you can just print it again. Yep. Any printer that has Uniflow, you're going to see it. The screen looks a little different, blue, white, and you'll see a QR code on the screen right away. That is the indicator that's running Uniflow. And as I've been rolling them out, I've been communicating to everyone like Uniflow's here, like you got it, like, and you'll definitely know because you're like, I can't print. That's why. So, printers that have, well, actually, let me go to my first slide. So in order to send a doc, if you have the software, because some of you may have already started installing it. I've been sending the emails. If you're realizing like, oh, I've sent, a print job to Uniflow because it will appear in your printers as just Uniflow, but I can't print. I'm not seeing this. You may not have the actual software installed and logged in. That's the key. It's more than just installing it. You actually have to log into it. And what this app does, it has to run all the time if you want to print. So what it acts as is a uploader. Think of it as like uploading to Google Drive. When it uploads your file, you have your own cloud, and that is called your secured queue. And whenever you walk up to a printer, you get to release and open up said queue and print whatever documents, however you want. But you have to have that installed. You have to have it logged in. That is the number one issue that all the agents have had so far with me. Is they're like, oh my God, I got everything set up correctly, but I can't print. Make sure you download it. And you can download Uniflow to up to 10 devices per account. So when you set up your account initially, you can have 10 phones, 10 laptops, 10 desktops. You can set up your computer from home. Anything that you want to send print jobs and access them in the KW offices, install it on that device. If you need more than that, because you're, running a major office, like say, let's see, not housework, FRG or anybody, you can just let me know. I can make more of those available to you. Going into the next one, the secure queue cannot be accessed on a Canon printer that does not have Uniflow. So right now you're probably like, I can't print. That's because I haven't rolled them over yet. But as soon as that does, it's going to be flipped. So once they're flipped over, your old installation may say front Canon, North Shore, whatever. That won't work anymore. That's the old way. It'll only work with Uniflow. It is possible, however, for you to access your documents, of course, by going to the front desk, and we can work that out. Uniflow resources will be available to you in the KW MKE app. And the AI is actually being updated today as well within the app to answer troubleshooting questions for you for Uniflow. I have provided a frequently asked questions into it, and it's just letting that assimilate that. But I implore you, if you feel like you're really struggling, please reach out to me. Shoot me an email. Let me know so I can help you, because I don't want anyone in this market center being stuck, not being able to print. So yeah. And the very last thing. So you just got an email from me, and this is about the listing network. So during the 24th and the 25th, I'm actually upgrading it and migrating it into a new system. So during that, it's basically going to be a blackout, and it's a Wednesday, Thursday, which is really the quietest days on the listing network. So the listing network, the brokers opens and open house services that we have are all just going to be suspended. Essentially any submissions that are on there that aren't set to expire, like they've gone, haven't been on there more than 14 days, those are going to be migrated too. So you don't have to worry about resubmitting. And if anything is like a flag, you'll get an email from me and I'll ask you what you want to do with your listing. No submissions or anything or any information will be lost. There will be new links though. So you'll be getting a lot more emails about like, hey, bookmark this, bookmark that, blah, blah, blah. Of course, it'll be in the KW MKE app and on the hub. But just make sure that you're paying a little closer attention to my emails, because they're packed with valuable information. Oh my God, I can't even speak. I'm not on coffee today. I'm on something else. But that's all I got.
As the chief of HR, here's the point. I want to reiterate a few things that he went through really fast. One, we're upgrading our systems to make everything AI capable. And so one of the reasons for the transition for the listing network is, one, there is a higher incidence rates of excludeds or exclusives. We want to get access to that information. And as the MLS rules have been changing, we're creating this platform that is then easily searchable. That's part of the reason for the migration. Two, the printing component of it, while it seems like a lot right now, once we set it up, you will forget about it and it will be totally easy. It's just the migration over to some of these systems. And a lot of it is we have to get all our systems talking in one versus in 7 different silos, which is how they live now. Does that make sense? Third, Willis is exactly in the role that he should be in, because he loves what he does and the technology platforms that he gets to play with, but he's also helping us be very progressive in terms of how we're updating our systems to make your experience with us incredibly valuable and enriched. Make sense? Sweet. With that, the Admiral is here to talk about one thing. Code of Ethics citations in the WRI Hotline Edition, because there has been an uptick in incidents. So, Admiral, what do these guys need to know?
Good morning. All right. So this is all to save you time, stress, and money. So these are all things we run across very regularly. So we wanted to point them out because you can get a citation. The first one starts at 500, second one 1,000, third one 3,500. So offer presentation. If a listing agent receives an offer on a Friday afternoon and wait till Monday to present because they may get better offers, you could get a citation for that. Unless it was directed by the seller to do it that way, you should be presenting them as objectively and quickly as possible. So that's one tidbit. Offer presentation confirmation is another thing that we get a lot of questions about. The cooperating agent has asked the listing agent to confirm in writing that the agent presented the offer to the seller. The listing agent ignored the request. We get this a lot. Why do I need to provide that to them? If they ask for it, you do need to provide it, or you could get a citation. So you don't need to provide it unless it's asked for. So it's just have that somehow available to show them that it was presented. Or yeah, you can say, yeah.
Notice.
No.
Or...
Yeah, just something to show that like you did in fact present it to the seller. So again, the fines are the same for all of these. So just keep that in mind. Listing advertisements on socials. We all know you have your own brands, and that's awesome. But when you are advertising a property for sale on social media, you do need to have the brokerage firm on the advertisement. This can also result in a fine. So this is something that we do see, and it's important to do because, I mean, someone could very easily call you out on it because everybody's seeing it. So and then lastly, this is just something that we've run across recently a few different times on the hotline. Make sure that you are scheduling final walkthroughs within 3 days prior to closing. Ideally, it is the 3 days because that's, you know, the closest to closing. You can figure out if there's anything going on, looking to see if any damage occurred to the property, if something was taken that wasn't supposed to be taken, like a light fixture. All, you know, was there a hole put in the wall by the movers, whatever, then you're able to get that figured out prior to closing, because obviously that the property is supposed to be essentially as it was when the client first walked through. If there's anything that has come up, then it needs to be, you know, talked through with the two sides. You can't, the buyer cannot have an inspector through that final walkthrough or any other professional, but they can ask for invoices of work completed, those types of things before they go in to verify that that stuff has been done. And that is it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Every Monday we have a compliance update group call, and I just thought of something as it relates to Ashley's update. Basically, it's this. Here's my reminder for you as it relates to compliance. We give you guys a lot of autonomy to operate as you desire to operate. And my reminder to you as it relates to compliance is play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So just as a reminder, as you, how you operate your business is a reflection on your character as a person. And most of the incidence rates that we deal with in terms of co-broke cooperation is poor cooperation. And so just remember, if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And we've had an uptick in some ethics violations, whether warranted or unwarranted. It's just know that people are paying attention and do your business on the up and up, and you don't have to worry about a thing. Make sense? Beautiful. All right, Woot, you're taking us home from education events, and then I'm going to give these guys a market update. What do we know?
Yeah, so we're super excited. Jason Abrams will be here live next week, Tuesday. We have about 200 of your peers that are coming to this event. So if you haven't registered, please do. And if you, it's open to all real estate agents. So if you have some friends out there in the world that you feel should come to Jason Abrams as well, bring them along. We'd love to see them there. Tomorrow in the North Shore office at 10 a.m., we have a couple of underwriters that are coming. Kim is bringing them in to pour into you a little bit more about what the role of the underwriter actually does. So if you have questions and want to ask, it'd be a great time for you to show up. And then super excited that Ignite is launching on July 13th, sorry. It's going to be in the Southwest New Berlin office. This is free for agents. If you are new to the business, want to expand your knowledge on these topics, I highly recommend you join us at Ignite. There are 2 standalone classes as well. So if you register for all of Ignite, you'll be invited to all these classes, but we do have 2 standalone classes. The first one is the time management with the 411. We have a guest coming in from Ohio, Jennifer Baldwin. Her team sold 618 units in 2025 for $188 million. And she's going to be walking us through how to actually manage your time using the 411. So if you want to just come to this class, you can register separately just for this event. And then the second standalone class we have is an AI workshop. So we did rent out the Safari Center again. We've heard your feedback this year from everything you've learned at Family Reunion to the Lauren Lucas class to Marcus Green last month. You want time to actually implement and workshop how to implement all the AI technology that's been shared in the last 6 months. So this is free for everybody. Bring your laptop. It's going to be a hands-on class. So we'd love to see you there. And then super exciting, our annual family day is back. We have even more things to do, more food to eat, more activities for everybody. This is for you, your entire family, your kids, your spouses. Please bring them. We'd love to have everybody join us for family day. This will be July 23rd over at the Camp Bar. And our next slide just shows us some of our things that we're bringing to Family Day. We're going to have pizza. We're going to have a barbecue truck that will have gluten-free and vegan options for you. Tundra treats again, our ice cream truck, bounce houses, the dunk tank, glitter tattoos, a video game truck, a DJ, magic. It's going to be a vibe. So thank you to all our sponsors that have made our Family Day and other events that we've ran so far this year possible. We definitely couldn't do it without them. July 23rd. And then last but not least, Simon Sinek is the guest speaker at Mega Camp in
Austin, Texas, Mega Camp, August 11th to the 14th. Sound good? And then we have a forthcoming this week, a career night coming up on June 18th from 6 to 7, where Caitlin will be walking people through how do they access the opportunity that is becoming an agent. If interested, feel free. We're rotating these around the offices throughout the year, and the North Shore will be hosting it this week, Thursday. Sweet. All right, I'm going to jump into market updates, and I just want to say one quick thing. From an educational event standpoint, the market's moving and changing so fast as it relates to the utilization of technology, how you guys have operated. We've brought in and we have increased the incidence rate of guest speakers because we're trying to keep you ahead of the game. I personally find that a lot of people in Milwaukee get caught in the echo chamber of Milwaukee. And I think it's really healthy to bring a diversity of thought and diversity of approach to this business, which is why you've seen a higher incidence rate of guest speakers from us in this year. So if it seems like a lot, it is, and it's on purpose because I do think that the market is evolving. I will share with you this too. The average age of a GMAR associate, I just got it for the 2026 demographics, is over the age of 60. There will be a massive transition in market share over the next 5 to 10 years. And it's our job to make sure that you are put in a position to be able to capture that market share as it transitions. So just some things to think about. Lastly, I think one of the coolest things we've done in the last 5 years was we did this family style picnic. I really enjoyed it last year, seeing your kids, meeting your spouses, meeting some of you brought your parents. It's designed to help showcase who it is that you spend your time with and who your peers are and why you're a part of our community. And I remember as a kid, my dad used to own a manufacturing injection molding plastics business down in Kenosha. And every year he hosted a company picnic. And it was amazing the bonds that it created at the company picnic. And I said, come hell or high water, we're doing a company picnic. So we're rolling it back again July 23rd. Cool? Grandkids, nieces and nephews, whoever you want to bring. It's designed to really kind of make it a fun event. Sound good? All right, market insights for you. What you're seeing a trend from me is I'm going to use the word again, a higher incidence rate of me bringing outside perspective to you to give you confidence. Because I think the more confidence you have in terms of your ability to be the economist of choice for your clients helps people buy the confidence you have and how you help them navigate a very complex situation or how you help navigate a very uncertain market. And so that's why I'm bringing you different things, different perspectives. And so that's kind of where we're at. I shared with you the last 2 weeks, and I'd share it with you again. Wisconsin is the second highest appreciation right now in the U.S. at 5.3%. I think that's going to continue to trend up based on what we saw from May data. And the reason that is Wisconsin's migration has really spiked in terms of people moving back in, which impacts our area. People need to be gainfully employed and our region needs to be growing in order for our appreciation to continue, demand to remain healthy, and so on and so forth. So I'm just kind of hammering this home as a way for you to make sure that you're bringing this up in conversations with your sellers as to why demand remains stable and growing in southeastern Wisconsin. It will also help you identify as it relates to why pricing continues to appreciate in this market. And people will have trouble making sense of what the appreciation is unless you show them the data to help them understand why demand is rising, why it's driving prices where they are, and so on and so forth. I shared with you last week what's winning in terms of May 2026 when we reviewed 235 accepted offers to help give you guys the data and insights as it relates to how you help your navigate a very competitive market. It is competitive. The flurry and frenzy is different than competitive, but it's competitive. When people are entering the market, they're getting serious, so on and so forth. Here you can see the mortgage rates, which I shared at 6.4%. And I shared with you the payroll and jobs report that came out roughly a week and a half ago, because the reason why this is all important and why we should be paying attention, people need to be gainfully employed, making great wages with an unemployment rate hovering right around 4% means our economy is gainfully employed, which means that it should be putting wind in your sails as it relates to the certainty as to what's happening within our macro environment. Now, I will educate you on something that you need to be paying attention to, because some people might ask you how this is impacting our market. Last week, as of June 8th, I showed you that the S&P was up roughly 8% year to date. Interestingly to note, this morning, on a year to date, 1 week later, the cheese moved by more than 30% in terms of year to date. It went from an up 8% to an up 10%. There's a very specific reason why. Last week, Friday, if you weren't paying attention to the markets, there was one of the largest, most successful IPOs in the history of the US stock market. SpaceX launched, and SpaceX is now, since the IPO, has gone up another 20%. That one company in the entire US is what has moved the S&P 500 from an up 8 from a week ago to an up 10 to today. Okay? The reason why this is important is the S&P 500 is effectively the portfolios and where people get confidence as it relates to how they move forward. The S&P, as the S&P rises and falls, I'll go back to a year ago in April. The S&P was falling, and all of a sudden you felt a lot of anxiety. You might not remember it, but you were. Your clients definitely did. And they were trying to determine, do they sell, do they buy, do they sell, do they buy? As it relates to their assets, and what do they do with their assets, and how do they move them if they're deciding to act within a real estate position. The reason I bring the SpaceX IPO up is this one company has moved the entire market very quickly within the week.
Right here.
You got it? All right. Another thing that I was reading this week that I wanted to share with the group was a Housing Wire article from Logan Montesami. Logan, I think, is one of the foremost economic experts in our residential real estate space, and he wrote an interesting article about a week ago on June 10th that I read, why purchase applications are rising even as mortgage rates climb. I know I'll save you the reading, and I broke it down for you. Here's where it is. Mortgage applications on a week-over-week basis, just within the last week, are up over 7%. Year to date, mortgage applications are up 17% versus where they were last year in 2025. And the year-over-year growth has been positive 20 out of the last 22 weeks. Okay, this is a signal of demand, future demand. This is a leading metric. Okay, 20 of the last 22 weeks, mortgage application data is increased this year versus where it was at the same point last year. Rates remain a pressure point, and the data tells us the closer rates creep to 7%, the demand softens quickly. So the reason why I keep bringing up mortgage rates and where they are and where they're creeping to or not creeping to, and why I'm paying attention to oil, is we know that the sensitivity point or the inflection point of where demand starts to soften, we've now known that as it gets closer to 7, the softness gets faster. Okay? And affordability continues to remain a primary challenge. Here, as it relates to the mortgage purchase applications index, you can see the dark blue line is the line that we see in 2026 versus the line of where we saw in 2025. Interestingly to note, okay, if you look back to where we were in November and December, and why I was very positive in terms of saying where I created my predictions that the market would be up 8% on a closed unit basis in 2026, this prediction, one of the data points that I looked at was mortgage applications and where the year finished. And if you look at where the year finished as a baseline, in November and December versus where it was even last spring, you can see the mortgage applications was rising at the end of 2025, which is where then you start to see the data show up in terms of units under contract and closed units in first quarter of 26. So the reason why I kind of led with the lead in the beginning of the meeting as it relates to the seasonality of our business and have we peaked in May. One, I'll show you some data that shows that I'm not necessarily believing that to be the case. And two, you can see where the mortgage application index is going as it relates to demand. Okay. I still think the back 6 months of the year, the metrics are telling us that the market should remain and continuously remain healthy. So what does this mean for you? Buyer demand is not dead. Serious buyers are active. Okay. This is why you're feeling the pressure from a competitive standpoint. Seller education is paramount because it's not a frenzied market, right? You're seeing less and less of the, unless you've totally you misappropriately priced a home. You're not seeing the homes with 20, 30 offers. You're seeing a competitive market with 3 or 4 offers, but you're not seeing the 30 or 40 that we experienced in 21. So it's not a frenzied market, but it's a competitive market. From a seller or a listing agent perspective, pricing, presentation, and expectation setting still remains paramount. We're seeing this as it relates to people kicking tire, the higher incidence rates of expired listings. Part of that is people testing the market and then pulling their home off the market. And the opportunity that you have as a listing agent and a buyer's agent is to create clarity because consumers are hearing mixed headlines. If they have a second home in Florida or Arizona or Austin, Texas, or anywhere else in between, they're hearing a headline that's vastly different than what is actually happening in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'll actually give GMAR credit. I've noticed an uptick in communication from the GMAR's PR department in terms of how they're communicating to the Business Journal, Biz Times, Fox 6, CBS, WISN, to be able to help control a narrative locally that I think is where, when people ask, where do my association dollars go? That's also part of what it is that they do is help tell the headlines of what our market is experiencing. Agents who explain the market with markets simply and confidently will win. Agents who explain the market simply and confidently will win. The market is not easy, but it is improving. Buyer demand is proving more resilient than headlines suggest. So I share with you because I thought it was a very interesting article and things from a takeaway perspective as it relates to how do you attack the market of the moment. Now, when I shared with you, I don't think that the market has theoretically peaked yet. Here's why I'm saying this. New unit inventory in the last 2 weeks was the highest amount of new inventory that has come to market in 2 successive weeks in 2026. If I pulled this same chart for where we saw in 2025 at this point last year, we had started to see a decline in new inventory unit coming to the market, and we can only sell from a buyer demand standpoint as much as the inventory that comes to the market is basically the environment that we're working in southeastern Wisconsin. So my point being is I'm very bullish on where June sits as a listing agent. You should still remain very, very active. The market's very, very healthy in terms of new inventory coming to the market. And if you're working with many buyers, and a lot of them might have buyer fatigue because of the level of competition, know that new listing inventory has not fallen off like we had seen in last year's market. Very positive heading into July and August. You can see here that impact it's had on total inventory. And by the way, this is a week by week snapshot of total inventory going back basically to the beginning of the year. And you can see that the incidence of higher new inventory and how that's impacting the overall market and how you can help people navigate the market of the moment. All right. With that, I wanted to close it out with 2 things. Things to consider as it relates to being your list from a listing agent's perspective. Okay. There's 2 basically key points of what you need to pay attention to. What a home is worth is an answer to a value question. What a home will sell for is the answer to a sales price question. The considerations that you need to understand as a listing agent, great agents do not just understand pricing, they communicate pricing in a way that earns seller trust and drives action. The key to it is you have a lot of people reach out and they say, hey, what is my home worth? What is my home worth? What is my home worth? And then it doesn't create an action. There's no follow-up. It's how do you communicate what pricing is in order to build trust, to create action. 2, buyers are seeking value in any market. That doesn't change. Okay. And serving sellers well means this. You have to outthink, outposition, and outperform other sellers that they are competing with for attention. For attention. You have to outthink, outposition, and outperform the inventory that you carry to compete for attention. So here are my 7 maxims for pricing. Be a student of your market, know your numbers. Focus your main comps on activities pending and solds may already be out of date. Be a student of property, preview them so you understand what is selling and why. Keep your presentations as current. Let your ongoing research do the talking. Pre-qualify for motivation, price ahead of the market to avoid chasing it, and always secure price reductions in advance to avoid falling behind the market. It's an interesting market. The market continues to ride. We haven't hit the peak of where we are yet, I believe, in 2026. Demand is really healthy. We're seeing that in mortgage application data. The stock market, I bring the stock market up because it's really what drives consumer confidence. Are people's net worths going up or down based on where their positions are within the market? And our job is to be able to communicate clearly and effectively in order to help people take action, and that we remove uncertainty. And when you remove uncertainty, people will choose you because you give them confidence. Make sense? Beautiful. With that, it's a beautiful day in Milwaukee. There's no Tuesday team meeting next week because we will be downtown at the Hilton Hotel with Jason Abrams. Look forward to seeing you there. Any questions, hit us up. And guys, it's a beautiful day. Thanks for showing up. Have a great day, guys.